Um, we've talked about this incident, but I don't think we've ever. I don't know. Maybe you have on other channels, but we've never talked about it here. Can you give me a detailed account of what happened at the Rey Theater? That was like an infamous death row incident that happened. Can you break that down for me?
Yeah, the Rey Theatre. Oh, I would have sworn we talked about that. But if you say we haven't, we haven't. Uh, the Rey Theatre. Okay. So what it was an after party for the Soul Trains Award in 1995. So that would have been probably March, April of 1995. So this is prior to Tupac coming to death row. Uh, he wasn't signed to death row yet. So it was a big party. Suge gave a big after party. I mean, everybody was there. It was off the hook. It was so crazy. Uh, Trying to get into that location. So Suge had Snoop perform, Quik perform. I believe, what's that group with Teddy Riley and them? Uh, Teddy Riley group. Guy, not Guy, the other one that he made with No Diggity. Backstreet, Black. He had them perform. A lot of people who was hot during '95 perform from the West Coast, which I know y'all gonna say Teddy Riley not from the West Coast. I know it, but he was hanging out here. Um, so it was crazy, but I gotta remember the mob and the blood dudes. And in LA, you can't party without Crips being there. It just don't happen. And Bloods come in there, which I gotta remember, Bloods are usually, or Pyrus are usually outnumbered everywhere in the pens, everywhere. It's just more Crips than there are Pyrus or Bloods. But they somehow, they get along. It's a thing about when it's on, but when they just partying and stuff like that, you usually you won't hang with each other or anything like that, but everybody have their sides of the club. So you have both Bloods and Crips in there. And, Snoop Dogg and his people, MC8 and his people, and obviously some 60 Crips was there. And it was just, everybody. But it was pretty much a blood thing. And so the Bloods or the Pyrus from Compton, mainly Suge people, wasn't there on no trip situation. They were just there. So Quik went up and performed his song, which was hot at that time. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And MC8 was there. Allegedly, I know, he's track new, but MC8 had a lot of dudes. He had a nigga with him that I used to tell Suge all the time, that nigga right there is a killer. That nigga, his name was G-Ray from Acacia Block, Compton Crips. That nigga, ooh, oh my God. G-Ray, G-Ray, G-Ray. But anyway, so I knew G-Ray was always with MC8. I saw him in New York when we was out there in New York. I used to say, man, y'all better, they only about 5 of them, but that nigga G-Ray right there is a fool. But anyway, so we was all there. They were all there, and I was there. I was just floating. There were 2 private security companies. El Rey had their house security. A few LAPD cops, and this company called Aloha Security. I remember it, because we always had to go to a bunch of depositions and shit. And then, at that time, Right Way wasn't operational yet. It was just, I was just over security for Death Row, where I would have like 2 of my guys with different people like Snoop and Dre, and it was really just Snoop and Dre, to be honest, back then. And I don't even know if Dre was there. I don't even think Dre was at the club. Not for sure either way. So I had like 6 my Compton guys that were there, that was with me, but we were just really floating, just making sure everything was going smooth at the club, because they had house security. Then I subcontracted the door to pat down everybody. This company called Code 4. And they did a lot of video shoots. That's who I was using. He was an ex-reserve police officer in Compton that had a security company. He came up real big doing the FEMA. Helped him get this contract with FEMA. Me and him was partners, and he made a lot of money because he started doing all the security after the riots at all the FEMA locations. And so we did that, right? Quik goes and perform. Now, this is where it gets touchy. I'm not sure the time events. Don't remember. I know Quik was up in the VIP area because all the death row people was up top over the bar. If y'all ever been to the El Rey, it's an old movie theater. So the people up top could look down on the people down on the dance floor and the bar and all of that. And then the stage was towards the front. And they were looking down, and I don't know the time frame on this, if it was before Quik performed or after Quik performed. But him and a group of guys over to the left were, they were in a shouting match, some of Quik entourage. And now, later it turned out it was MCA and whoever people he had with him. It appeared, I believe, it was some 60 Crips and some Track News. Don't understand that connection, but I'll get more into why I believe that 60s was with them. But I'm not 100% sure on that. But they were standing off to the left. So Quik, either before that or after that, goes, perform, and as my recollection is, as Quik was walking from the stage, he walked past them. And somebody in his entourage, in MCA's entourage, either threw some champagne or some liquor on him, or they yanked and tried to pull Quik hair. You remember Quik used to have those perms, and his hair used to be better than a female's. And the melee happened. It went on, and they started fighting. No mob dudes or looters parks or what's, other than Quik entourage, who mainly were treetop dudes. A big heavy-set dude, I remember, because he later died from the stress of all this shit. His bodyguard at the time, not Donzelli, because Donzelli, he with the business. He's with Quik. Well, I'm sure he was there. But his big dude from St. Louis, can't think of his name right now. We used to call him Tiny or something. But so they get in a big old fight, and they start fighting. But, of course, people went over there from the death row side and got into the middle of it, trying to really break it up. Suge's on the stage, like, y'all stop that fighting over there, y'all stop that fighting over there. And he didn't really want it to go on because, it was a nice event. A lot of money was spent. He didn't want that going on there. But that grew to about 40 to 50 people fighting. And then a guy from 60 Crips, Kelly Jamerson, no disrespect to the 60 Crips, or them just telling the story, but during that melee, he was actually, I found out later from the DJ General. He was a popular DJ at the time. He saw me at an all-white party. I had security at the Fantasia Yacht Club. He said, man, I was looking for you. I've been looking for you. You was the only one that tried to... Anyway. Yeah, man, I always told the police to find you. You know everything. I was like, nigga, I don't know what you're talking about. But General Lee, you remember that conversation. But anyway, yeah, those dudes, that happened at the El Rey. And got them out of there. Corrupt in the ass caught the heat of that. They caught that. Those niggas were scared to come out for days. Oh man, I remember me and Suge got to go meet with them and they were like, man, these 60 Crips talking about killing us and doing this. And we like, man, y'all tripping, man. I guess it eventually got worked out. I know the Jamerson family sued and got about $180,000. Because I remember Cold Force Security Company had to pay $60,000. Lowell had to pay $60,000. And I think the club had to pay $60,000. So I think they all came up with a deal. And they even got $160,000, $240,000 back there from the lawsuit. And Yeah, that's what happened at the El Rey. That's why Quik did that song that he did and talking about the El Rey. I'm a gangster. Yeah, no, I'm not, and all of that. Quik, you say I'll be snitching and telling? Am I a snitch, Quik? Am I a snitch? Because your hair be nappy as a motherfucker if I was. But we know when you snitched on your nephew. Respond to this video, nigga. That story's coming out. Got the paperwork, Quik. Got it. You remember your nephew? All right. You know I gotta send my warnings to motherfuckers. Because sometimes they grow balls. Yep. El Rey. Bomb first.